Earning $100,000 a year and feeling financially stuck is not a paradox. It is one of the most predictable outcomes in personal finance. And the reason it is predictable is that high income does not automatically produce wealth. It produces visibility. The visibility of your income bracket to a peer group whose spending habits become your spending baseline. And the pressure to match that baseline is not social weakness. It is a structural consequence of earning what you earn and being seen earning it. The trap has a name and a mechanism and an exit, and none of them are what most financial content says they are. The visibility mechanism. Why high income creates its own specific financial pressure. Most financial advice about high earners assumes the problem is discipline. The person earning $100,000 and saving little is assumed to be spending recklessly on expensive things. And the advice is to budget more carefully and spend less on the categories where the excess lives. And this advice fails most high earners, not because it is wrong in principle, but because it misdiagnoses the source of the pressure. The specific mechanism is peer group visibility. When income rises, the social context changes. The job is at a company where colleagues are in the same income bracket. The neighborhood is in the zone the income can access. The social events are calibrated to what the income bracket can afford. And the spending baseline that feels normal is the spending baseline of the peer group that the income made visible, not the spending of someone being irresponsible, the spending of someone accurately reading the social context they are in and responding to it in the way that social contexts demand. The trap is not in the individual purchase decisions. It is in the social architecture that determines what feels like a reasonable purchase in the first place. The hedonic treadmill. Why each raise produces temporary relief and permanent new pressure. Most people who are aware of the high-income poverty trap believe they are aware of lifestyle inflation, and they are right about what it is. Spending rises when income rises. But knowing about lifestyle inflation and being exempt from it are different things. And the reason knowing about it does not make most people exempt from it is that the mechanism is not primarily conscious. The hedonic treadmill is the psychological process by which humans adapt to improved conditions and return to a consistent baseline level of satisfaction regardless of the improvement. A raise produces genuine relief and genuine improved quality of life for approximately 3 to 6 months. And then the new lifestyle becomes the baseline, and the previous level feels uncomfortable by comparison, not as a failure of gratitude, but as a neurological reality. The brain recalibrates the normal, and the previous normal becomes deprivation. And the financial consequence is that each raise that funds a lifestyle upgrade eventually fails to improve the quality of life, but permanently raises the minimum cost of the life, which means the next raise is needed not to improve the situation, but to maintain it. And the treadmill requires increasing speed just to stay in place. The golden handcuffs. Why the trap becomes structurally self-reinforcing. The most dangerous stage of the high-income poverty trap is not the one where the person feels financially stressed. It is the one where they feel financially comfortable, but structurally trapped. The mortgage that requires the income, the school fees that require the income, the car payment and the lifestyle and the obligations that together require the income, and the job that provides the income becomes the job they cannot afford to leave. The golden handcuffs mechanism is the specific calculation that most trapped high earners have never done explicitly, taking the total monthly cost of the life they are currently living and asking what income is required to sustain it, and then comparing that number to what they would earn if they left for a lower paying but more fulfilling alternative. The gap between those two numbers is the size of the handcuff, and the handcuff grows with every lifestyle upgrade because every upgrade raises the minimum monthly cost of the life. The person who upgrades their apartment when the raise arrives has tightened their handcuff. The person who invests the raise has loosened it. And the difference between those two decisions made repeatedly across a career is the entire difference between financial freedom and income dependency at any income level. And if the visibility mechanism and the hedonic treadmill just named something that has been operating in your financial life without a name, the like button is right there. It means this video keeps finding the people whose specific situation it was built to address. The status signaling cost, the invisible tax on high income that compounds silently. There is a category of spending that high earners carry that lower earners do not carry in the same form. And it is not the mortgage or the car payment or the school fees. It is the status maintenance cost, the specific spending required to maintain the appearance of financial position within the income bracket social context. And this spending is almost never named because it does not appear in any specific budget category. The status maintenance cost is the aggregate of the spending decisions made not because the thing was wanted, but because its absence would communicate something about the financial position. The restaurant that the peer group expects, the car that matches the neighborhood, the vacation that confirms the income bracket. None of these are extravagant in the context of the peer group. All of them are essential in the context of the peer group. And the total cost of this category annually is the most consistent explanation for the gap between what high earners earn and what they accumulate. It is the invisible tax on social membership in a high-income peer group, and it compounds silently because it is never named as a category. The income-wealth gap. What the numbers actually show. Most high earners do not know their net worth, and the reason they do not know their net worth is the same reason they are in the trap. The relevant number in a high-income identity is the income, not the accumulation. And a person who does not track accumulation is a person who is not oriented toward it. The specific data point that makes the high-income poverty trap visible is the net worth comparison at the same income level between people who entered the trap and people who avoided it. Physicians with $300,000 incomes have median net worths that are lower than teachers who invested consistently from $55,000 incomes. Not universally, but consistently enough to demonstrate that the trap is not about income level. It is about the ratio between income and lifestyle cost and the rate at which the surplus above that ratio compounds. And the person earning $80,000 with $40,000 in lifestyle cost and $40,000 in annual investment is building wealth faster than the person earning $150,000 with $145,000 in lifestyle cost and $5,000 in annual investment. Not because they earn more, because the gap between income and lifestyle cost is wider, and that gap is what compounds. The exit. What actually unwinding the trap requires. Most financial content ends with generic advice. Invest more, spend less, avoid lifestyle inflation. And this advice is correct in direction and useless in practice because it does not address the structural mechanism that created the trap. The visibility mechanism, the hedonic treadmill, the golden handcuffs, and the status maintenance cost are not solved by knowing you should spend less. They are structural, and structural problems require structural solutions. The exit from the high-income poverty trap requires exactly one decision, made before any subsequent lifestyle upgrade is accepted. And the decision is made once, not repeatedly. It is the decision about what percentage of every future income increase is permanently allocated to investment before the lifestyle has a chance to absorb it. Not a budgeting decision, not a spending restriction, a pre-commitment made at a calm moment, rather than at the moment each raise arrives.
The specific percentage that most financial research identifies as the threshold between income dependency and wealth building is 20% of gross income invested before any other allocation. Not 10%, which is the conventional advice, 20%. Because 20% at a high income level is the amount that compounds fast enough to create genuine optionality within a career, rather than at the theoretical end of it. The person earning $100,000 and investing $20,000 per year from age 30 has approximately $1.2 million at 50 at an 8% annual return. Enough to have the conversation about the golden handcuffs from a position of genuine choice rather than genuine constraint. The lifestyle can grow. That is not the problem. The lifestyle can absorb the remaining 80% entirely. The trap closes when the lifestyle absorbs 100%, and the exit is the pre-commitment that makes 100% absorption permanently impossible. And this brings us back to where we started. Earning $100,000 a year and feeling financially stuck is not a paradox, and it is not a discipline failure. It is the predictable outcome of a specific structural mechanism that high income creates and that compounds against you unless you understand it, and specifically design your financial life to prevent it, not with willpower, with a pre-commitment that runs before the mechanism can close the trap.
I make these videos because I find it genuinely unreasonable that the most specifically named financial experience of working Americans is also the one where the mechanism is almost never clearly explained. Subscribe so I can keep being unreasonable about that on your behalf. The video on your screen right now might be more helpful for you, so click and watch.